Okay, I'm just going to do a short one. I don't know if I want to do too much because this channel is starting to get too much attention, and if it gets too much attention, they're just going to shut it down again. So I'm just going to make a little comment about woke. You have these, especially apparently liberal Democrats who call themselves woke, and there's nothing about their behavior that indicates to me that they're woke at all. In my definition of the words woke means that you're awake. You're aware of what's going on around you. And most people, both on the left and the right, are asleep. They're hypnotized. They believe whatever the propaganda of their party is, and they don't think for themselves. They're not woke. They're not at all woke. When you start to think for yourself instead of just blindly adhering to whatever your party says, then you truly are awoke. But if you just blindly believe anything, a lot of these Democrats, they'll vote for anything with a D on it. They don't care what it is. If they could resurrect Joseph Stalin or Mao Zedong, the greatest mass murderer in history, and he ran as a Democrat, they would vote for him because he had a D on him. It doesn't matter what he was. It wouldn't matter if he was a mass murderer or not. It doesn't matter if he was enslaving his people or not. As long as he's got a D, you vote D. That's it. That's not woke. You just write D all the way down the board. And these blacks, they automatically vote D, 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 all the way down the ballot every year. And the Democrats say they're going to do all these things for the blacks. And what do? Lots of talk. Some of the stuff that they do is the opposite of it. Like, the Democrats claim they're going to improve the environment, they're going to help out the minorities and the poor. And so they do some superficial things for the poor and stuff, but not a lot. Like, giving out free handouts isn't really helping the poor, because it's just kind of teaching them to be lazy, and you can't really believe in yourself, if you just sitting there getting a free paycheck and not working for it. So programs to help the poor get on their feet would truly be helping the poor. But, the Democrats are also involved with all these other things, these little scams, more than Republicans are. For instance, they have these things, I call them oil stop signs, oil stop lights, oil neighborhoods. Because they have all these needless stop signs. This really started going up in like the late 80s and early 90s. I lived in this one neighborhood in North Carolina, and for its whole history there were no stop signs. And all of a sudden a forest of stop signs went up overnight, and my dad was complaining. Got a hold of the police chief and asked, "What's this going on?" He admitted there'd never been a problem there, because most people are only going 20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour, you got plenty of time to stop. But there, you got to stop. Every block, you got to stop. It wastes gas, wear and tear on your brakes. And then you got these stop lights that are synchronized backwards. And this mostly happens in areas where Democrats are in control. But in Republican areas, it does it too. And the only purpose for it is so that the gas companies can make more money, which causes more pollution, which the Democrats claim they're trying to solve. So they do some little superficial things. A lot of this stuff like cap and trade is actually, Jesse Ventura did a video a few years ago about this. All his videos have been removed from the internet now. Even I didn't agree with everything in his videos, but still, so much for free speech. And they've all been removed. You cannot find any. Look up Jesse Ventura Conspiracy Theory. His series was called Conspiracy Theory, and they've all been removed. So, anyway, there's I could talk about a lot of other things that they do also. Like, the Democrats, and these contractors, and the mafia are all in bed together. And another little scam they do is tear down perfectly good high schools every 20 years and build up new ones. And then they can raise the taxes and say, "Well, we got a new school," and then if a Republican says, this is a waste of money, oh, he hates kids. He hates kids. He doesn't believe in the children should have a decent education. What is tearing down a perfectly good school and building a new one at the cost of millions of dollars of taxpayer money? How is that proving he hates kids? And this is going to disrupt their education, tearing down a school and building up a new one. The old school was perfectly adequate for teaching. So anyway, I could go on and on about all these things, but being woke means that you're awake, really awake. None of these so-called woke Democrats are awake at all.